want to go into Miriah, Avila. You produced her album. Um, Miriah is a very talented singer. She has an amazing voice. She mentioned you in the interview that you were basically sole responsible for producing her album. This is the first album that you cut with her. What was that experience like? And they basically gave you the keys to the city, right, for this one?
Yeah, it was pretty much, the songs that I had written for her to sing, minus one of them that I think her grandmother had written, because her grandmother was a songwriter. And, we had talked about, man, we got to translate some of these lyrics. They're really cool, and that's what we did with one of them. And I always had tracks, we'd be going through tracks that I had, like, oh, I like this one, or there's something like this. And for the most part, it was all songs that I had ready to go, that I just needed an artist to kind of take it to the touchdown. So when she got in, we literally sat down at the piano, me and her, and just so organic, so easy, and we got along right off the bat completely. So I think, that was a big part of it too, that, we were just two geeks, just wanting to write songs. And I was so excited to produce these songs, and it just, the chemistry was so great that it just happened so fast. We cut, like, I don't know how long it was, but we cut the entire EP in that time that we were working together. And, it was go in the studio, write the song, cool, come back next week, record it, next week, another song. And it was just boom, 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 like that, so fluid that it just made sense. And it was just a good collaboration for sure.
What do you love about Miriah's voice? When you first heard it, were you like, what?
So strong, it blew me away. She could get so loud. And the thing is, like, she gigs so much, she's a seasoned musician. So, she's at the point where every singer should be at, where as far as your instrument, she takes care of it. And she knows how to use it and what certain points to manipulate it. And it's just the way that she sang my melodies and added to it and changed it certain ways just made it so much more sense as a singer. Because I don't consider myself a singer. I sing, but I don't know all the tricks and the runs. I'm a light jogger, as they say, And that's that's her joke. She'll tell me that's her joke, that she'll say, it's like, yeah, you don't do runs. You're like a light jogger, JQ. I'm like, all right, thank you. So, I admire the fact that she could do all those vocal tricks that real singers could do, but really kind of hold back and still be kind of like a modern, yet have a throwback to her voice, So I think that's the best of both worlds for sure. That's the first thing that I noticed off the bat.
And then would you like to do another project with her? Is that something that's in the works, or?
Yeah, I think there'll be another record, at least with the Thiers or myself or something. I think we'll definitely be always into making music with her for sure.
So recently I seen you working with Little Willie G, the frontman of the Midnighters. Huge legend right there, been doing it for a long period of time. Guy's got a great voice. What was it like working for him, and what project was that on?
That was actually a project through IMG that they had reached out to his son, Willie G's son, Jacob G, who's a fantastic drummer and a really, really great singer. Came in and we had done a record for him, and he had put together the session with the musicians, and he had brought everybody down, and we got together in a room and we just pushed record straight to tape. 4 guys in the room, 4 microphones, straight to tape, mix it right there on the spot, because they were so good. Like, they mixed themselves, and they were such great players. And then we overdubbed his dad, Willie G. He had his whole group of backup vocals, and they did the backups. And Willie G had actually reached out to me on Instagram about doing something on his album. He's putting together an album that he's working on with Nick Waterhouse and a bunch of other artists. So, we had always been in communication and trying to get something going. But that was the first time we met. He came to the studio. Of course, I had him sign my piano. So I have Brent Wood, got Little Willie G, and I got Danny Trejo to sign my piano.
So is that the goal, just trying to get a bunch of collection of signatures?
Oh yeah, my heroes for sure.
Did you learn any tips from him in the studio? Did he bring any knowledge to you when you were working with him?
Not necessarily a tip, but something that I've been noticing a lot in a lot of singers is like hands, and especially singing in groups. Like the older guys, when they sing, because they're used to singing in groups. They didn't have multiple channels in the 60s, so they had to sing under one microphone. So just like how to blend and watching how they manipulate the sound that they're coming out of their mouths into one microphone is just amazing to me. And just kind of taking that, kind of watching them, how they discipline themselves from the microphone and what their performance is to get a good sound overall, not just have them sound good. So a lot of times people, when they're in the studio, they want to hear themselves only. But to be able to hear everybody together and see how they kind of did it was kind of like a big, oh, okay, I see, I could see now. That's awesome. I can get that. I could take away from that.
I follow your Instagram, like I'm on it, bro. Like I'm on that Instagram just to see like who you're working with and what's going on. And lo and behold, the Lakesiders are in your studio. My heart dropped. Like I said, my heart dropped when I seen that, because I feel like with them, they were one of the first to come out. They had a really huge single in the Parachute song. They had like the visuals, the video was cool, like their style is cool. And then they just kind of like, I don't know what really happened. They put out a couple like little covers here and there, and then they just like disappeared. Then I seen them on the Instagram with you, and like I said, I was so excited to like hear what you guys are working on. So can you tell us about that relationship and what you guys are working on?
We reached out to them early on to kind of do something, and the timing just never really fell through. And then until recently, Jason had kind of reached out, and I don't know if Jason Joshua had called them or they had called Jason inquiring about releasing something, but the conversation started of like they wanted to make a record, and he had recommended, he's like, oh, you got to go to JQ's, go to Joey's, we'll take care of you guys, you know, just get the band, whatever we need, let's get it done. And from the time that they came in, Jason flew in from Miami, picked them up after the airport, dropped them off in my studio. He went to go get a haircut and told me to make a record. So it's like, okay, let's see what we can do. So the whole time we just kind of hung out with them. Since years and Lakesiders just had like a big kind of powwow, just hanging out, talking about stuff. And it just kind of grew more of a friendship. And then from that, you know, kind of we started working in the first day of the studio. We just kind of jammed out. She hummed out a melody, and everybody in the band just kind of got together. Like in the movies, it was like, you know, oh, bass player puts up slow motion, gets the song. Then the horn players come in and they know the line automatically. Like, completely movie moment. So it was just completely organic and completely fluid, and it just kind of happened. And from that kind of just grew a good relationship, because they're so, you know, they're such, from the same, you know, we come from the same background. So I think it's like, we just kind of meshed well together, like meeting all the guys from Thier and Lakesiders was just a no-brainer. Like, why wouldn't we make a record?
And I seen an interview with them. They kind of mentioned that they were doing like a political song. Are they doing political songs?
Not that I know of. I mean, they may have some other stuff kind of brewing up, but for the most part, it's just the two singles that I know. It's just one that, from what I know, it's called "Can't Fool Me Twice," which is kind of like a jab at, you know, the experiences that they learned in the music business. Kind of like, you know, being kind of a little bit traumatized from the business and what their experiences were. So that's why I think that's what they kind of loved for a while. So that's what the song is about. And then another kind of like Rosing the Originals type, you know, dance hall kind of, you know, winter dance ball ballad called Show Me Love, I believe. I could be messing up the titles. I'm not completely 100% sure, but this is what I know for sure.
So with the Lakesiders, they had a huge hit with the Parachute. I mean, it's over like 5.7 like million views. You know, it's a really beautiful song, very simple song, but it's just super catchy, right? And that was like back in 2018, and that's kind of one of the first songs that I ever heard that just really caught my attention. Like, this could be something big, you know? Can you go into just their importance of that song and this group? What they mean to the modern soul today? I
think that they were kind of like the first. I mean, as far as from our area in LA, kind of West Side, you know, they were the first to kind of like open up the idea of like, I guess what you would call modern soul, modern souldies, or whatever the word that they're throwing out, because they put like an image between it and such a style and such a, you know, just such a very reminiscent about it, you know, and it attracted people from like older generations and the younger, because, you know, these were people that were our age dressing like our grandparents, you know, and it just looks so cool. It's such a nice package. It was a good package. And I think they kind of put that out there. And they're the first ones to do that, to get attention to all of us. And I don't think they really know how important they are to kind of starting this kind of movement of, you know, the younger artists, and paving the way for the younger artists to come up and sing their songs and tell their stories.
Now, does that put more pressure on you to work with a group like that? Because right now, I mean, just from the outside, I mean, they're a one-hit wonder. I mean, I don't know if we can that kind of sounds harsh, but they are like a one-hit wonder. Are you like there working with them like hell with that? Like, we're gonna make them fucking big, because they deserve to be big. They helped all of us.
Yeah, totally. I think everybody kind of was like, especially the Sinceres, because a lot of people think that we had like beef or something because, just because we come from the same neighborhood and we like, we do the same stuff, that we're competitive. But I think immediately everybody in the band was like, let's do this. Let's be there for them. And this is their time. Let's do it.
I want to just kind of close it out with you being a father. I think it's so cool to see your new daughter, right? I don't think she's 1 yet, right?
No, she just turned 10 months today.
What's it like having a young child? Now you got all this stuff going on. You got producer, you're writing music, you're in the studio 24/7. What's it been like, having the new daughter in the world?
It's exciting. It's been kind of like a check into adulthood for sure, because a lot of times I was a reckless touring guy, just didn't really have, I was pretty much homeless. I didn't have a home or a steady place to live. I was always on the road, could fit my entire life in a suitcase. Living with my girl and living with my daughter, it's been such a good to have a place to come home and just relax and unwind, and most importantly, keep business separate from family. And it's something that I've really, really grown to appreciate a lot more, especially during this pandemic, because again, we were supposed to be touring, and we were going to tour a month earlier, but I was going to have my daughter, so I wasn't going to go on the tour. So they moved the entire tour a month back, and then the pandemic happened, so then canceled the tour. So it's kind of like, I'm glad that happened in a sense, because I've been able to be a better father, and I've been able to kind of be there and just, really be an adult and really grow up, like what everybody needs to do at a certain point for sure, but still have time to be able to do, music, and have my girl who's so supportive of that and lets me, continue to pursue my dreams and does everything that she can to to keep me afloat and keep my head in the clouds with my feet on the ground still,
Now is this your first child?
No, I have a son. I have another relationship. I have a son, a 5-year-old son. Okay. He just 5, and then he lives with his mother, and this is my first daughter.
So I wanted to go into, I seen that on your Instagram that, you definitely got a girl there. You got a new child in the world. How did you two meet?
We met on a video shoot. I invited her to a baby bash video shoot, and I just wanted to talk to her all day. So it was my excuse to kind of hang out with her. And, she had fit the part perfectly, because she always done herself good up in 50s, 60s makeup and stuff like that. And I just suckered her into coming down and spending the whole day with me. And she kind of got a taste of my lifestyle, which was, I guess, kind of not really familiar, but exciting, So I think, she was impressed by all the older people that were working with me and asking for me to work for them. And it was just a very exciting time. And I think that's what, got us to kind of start talking and hanging out and stuff like that. And, she was my merch girl for many years for my band, and just the #1 supporter. And she just loves music, and she's, she always says, you make the music and I dance, because she's a dancer and she loves that. So it's kind of a cool relationship to have somebody who loves music as much as you do,
Yeah, and you guys look so cute on the Instagram. You guys doing the pumpkin patch. You're doing all this cool stuff together. I really enjoy seeing that, on the Instagram with you two. It's just really, really cool to see that she supports, because there's not a lot of people out there that understand your lifestyle, man. That's I think a big thing in relationships growing up that I'm seeing. Your girl definitely has to have your back as you do, your conquest of music,
I drive her crazy, I'm sure. Like right now, I'm telling you, man, I told her, I'll do a quick interview real quick. And then she'll hear the interview and she'll see it later, and she'll be like, wow, that was really cool. And yeah, that's what I was doing. So sometimes it must be hard for her, because, a lot of people, I guess, talk about me, or there's a lot of people sharing my stuff, and I'm out there a lot, and it's kind of hard to have a private life. But when I come home, that's what I'm about. That's my family. I'm about that. And I don't like answering my phone and stuff like that. So it's cool. It's cool to have the balance.
Well, man, I definitely want to thank you for doing this, man. You do not know how much this means to me, man. I love the music that you're doing. I love the projects that you've worked on. It's very important to me, with the stuff that you're doing. And there's a lot of friends and family that I have that just love all the stuff that you're doing. And I really look forward to seeing you continue this journey that you're on, man. I know you're going to go through the roof, through the stars. And I really, again, appreciate you doing this, man.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you for having me. Make me look cool.
You're watching Universal Groove. Thanks for tuning in. See you soon.
Take a chance on me. Just take a chance on me.